244.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's time for the Playmaker Spotlight with Executive Coach and Vistage Chair, Dick Smith.
Well, welcome to the Playmaker Spotlight, the part of Get Down to Business, where we speak to CEOs, business owners, and their resources and share their best practices with you. I'm your host, Dick Smith, the CEO Business Coach and award-winning chair for Vistage International. And tonight I'm very pleased to have as our guest Craig Lowder. Craig is president of Mainspring Sales Group. They're headquartered in Geneva. Craig is a seasoned business veteran with more than 30 years of experience helping business owners, small and mid-sized companies achieve their sales goals. Craig has worked with companies, B2B, B2C industries, including retail, manufacturing, information technology, software companies, and business services companies of all types. Craig's company, Mainspring Sales Group, works with businesses that are in need of a strategic sales leader, either on a part-time or project basis, and he helps them to develop and execute sales strategies, develop sales processes, and performance management systems to ensure sales execution. Actually, Craig has worked with many of my CEO clients and business associates with outstanding success, I might add. In the spirit of full disclosure, Craig is both a good friend and a great contributing member of one of my high-performing Vistage groups. Craig, welcome to Playmakers.
Thank you, Dick. It's an honor to be here, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Hey, we've talked about this before. The answer to every CEO's problems are sell more, sell more. That's always the number one issue. What problems or challenges are? We either need to sell more or get more money for what we sell.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You're pretty easy to tee up, but it's not teeing you up with my members that's important. It's the successes that you have had with them, and we've had so many. So tell me, what is the biggest challenge the business owners that you face that is significant, predictable, and sustainable growing their sales? What's the biggest challenge with doing that?
Well, Dick, it's very simply they don't have a sales plan. They view they view sales very transactionally or tactically, and they take a very short-term point of view in terms of how they're going to grow their company's business, and they really need to take a long-term view.
Okay, so tell our listeners, what are the key ingredients in building an effective sales plan? I mean, what goes into it?
Really, there are three, Dick. First, you have to have a sales strategy. Mm-hmm. Second, you have to have sales enablement or sales support systems to support that strategy. And thirdly, you have to have the right people in the right seats on the bus.
Okay, well, let's dissect this one at a time. So tell me about the sales strategy piece as one of the key ingredients. What's involved in developing a good sales strategy?
Well, generally, there are five things, Dick. Number one, you have to know what type of clients or customers that you're targeting. So target markets, target clients is number one. Number two, you need to know who you're selling to. Who are the buying influences in making a decision? Mm-hmm. Third, what type of sales channels are you going to use to be effective in targeting the people that you're targeting? Is it a direct sales team? Is it an indirect sales team? Is it using digital channels? Fourth, and very, very important that most companies overlook, they have to have a sales message that differentiates them from their competition. Mm-hmm. That message needs to be simple, memorable, as well as differentiating. Mm-hmm. And then finally, there's something that we work with our clients on. It's called 5x5 growth strategies.
What is that?
There's only 5 ways that any business can generate profitable income. Mm-hmm. You generate leads. Mm-hmm. You convert those leads to a result, which we call a customer. Okay. Then you increase the number of transactions that you have over a given period of time, number of sales that you make, times your average dollar sale. And now all of a sudden, customers times transaction number times average dollar sale equals revenues. But no business is in business to generate revenue. It's all about creating profit. Mm-hmm. So you've got to work on what strategies can you put in place to improve your gross profit margins.
Gotcha. All right, well, that's part one. So part two you mentioned was sales enablement system. Sounds like a mouthful as a key component. What do you need to put in place to support that?
Well, in reality, a lot of cases, people just do, well, I've done things this way before. I think I need to do them this way going forward. But what we try to do is make sure that they have documented systems. And generally speaking, there are 8 areas that they really need to look at for their sales team. Number one, you need to have a hiring process, hiring systems and support materials.
So the right people.
Exactly. And once you bring those people on board, you need to make sure that you budget and you have a training plan available for them.
Oh, I mean, they don't just walk in and know what to do, in other words. You got to train salespeople.
Yeah, a lot of
Son of a gun.
Yeah, a lot of business owners think that's the case, but the reality, no. Third, and probably where we get the most traction, is they don't have a documented sales process that's congruent with how their customers buy. And tying into that is also having their CRM system in place that helps them track activity as well as results and giving them information back so that they can run their business effectively.
For some of our listeners, customer relationship management, CRM, that's what that means, system. Okay.
Exactly. Fourth, having goal setting and budgeting systems. 5, being able to forecast very accurately. 6, having performance metrics for each member of the sales team and the sales team in total. And that involves tracking activity as well as results.
Wow, okay.
7, having a formal performance evaluation system in place. I can't tell you how many businesses I deal with, they manage their sales team by how much revenue that they generate, and that's not the best way to go about it.
Well, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to my good buddy, Greg Lowder from Mainspring Sales Groups. This is the Get Down to Business Playmaker Spotlight portion of the show. And, Greg, boy, you do all this stuff you just mentioned for people. And this third element, having an effective sales plan, you mentioned sales organization and people. What is that all about? Help me to understand that.
Well, there's 4 items in sales organization and people. Number one is make sure you're structured correctly. Most companies, as they grow, they end up with people who originally started out as hunters on the street, and now they turned into farmers and are maintaining the current account. So organizing the sales department based on where a company is at today and where they want to be 3 years ago. And typically that's not the same as the way that they grew the business. Secondly, sitting back and really professionally and objectively evaluating the performance of each individual on the sales team. Third is making sure that you recruit the right sales leader. The most effective sales leaders are focused on developing people as opposed to sales. That's what the people are supposed to be doing.
Tell me, isn't the biggest mistake most entrepreneurs make, they have a sales group and then they pick their best salesperson, their rainmaker, and try to make them a sales manager, right?
Absolutely, and all they want to do is close deals. And the best sales leaders are the one that can subordinate their own personal egos and focus on the success of the people that are working as part of their team.
Which is opposite of what a good sales manager might do, a nurturing sales manager and helpful sales manager.
Exactly,
right? Okay.
Exactly. And then fourth is compensation. Compensation systems have been very typical. They've been put in place, they've been tweaked, they've been changed, but effective compensation systems should really be designed around the drivers, what the company is trying to achieve in the coming year.
Gotcha. So when you're brought into, or I recommend you to somebody, what typically are the challenges that companies you work with face? What happens?
Well, at a very high level, Dick, is number one, their sales are not growing significantly in this economy, or in fact, they may not be growing at all. They don't have a written sales plan outlining their path to achieving their sales objectives along with the supporting action plan. They don't have a documented sales process that they can hold their sales team accountable to.
So this is a step-by-step system?
Yeah, it's a step-by-step system. They also lack documented sales performance metrics, as I mentioned earlier, both activity as results to measure whether somebody is successfully performing the job or not. They lack a customized CRM system to track sales activity as well as to generate the customer, sales pipeline, and forecasting reports that are necessary to run the business. They have difficulty in attracting and retaining top sales and sales management talent. It's like a revolving door, and or they make a lot of bad hires. And then finally, they don't have a sales compensation system or plan that is aligned with the company's sales objectives, and they don't incent the desired sales behaviors.
And, of course, these are all things that you help business owners accomplish, get these things in place. And I know I have seen with my members a great improvement in their sales activities as well as their results with your help. So I'm afraid we're out of time, but I wanted to thank you, Craig, for being with us, my friend, president of Mainspring Sales Group. You're a much sought-after sales consultant, as I've said, and I'm always happy to enthusiastically refer you to anyone who is looking for help in that arena. So thanks again. Tell our listeners how they can contact you, Craig.
The three ways, actually. You can, first of all, take a look at our website at Mainspring, MAINSPRING, sales.com. You can email me directly at clowder@mainspringsales.com, or you can call me directly at 630-649-4943.
Well, thanks again, Craig. I'd like to thank our listeners for tuning in. This has been the Playmaker Spotlight with your host, Dick Smith. You can find me on LinkedIn or reach me at dick.smith@vistagechair.com. Stay tuned for more Get Down to Business.
AM 5